is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus. Visit us today during Ram Truck Month. IP&E Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
On paper, they appear to be raises, but that's not what Adelup calls them. Chris Barnett investigates. Police launch a death investigation, the story from Harmon coming up. And former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio's attorney Tom Fisher plans on taking GPD to court.
Half a day and good evening. 4 Adelup staffers have received $30,000 in pay adjustments. And while these salary increases are documented in black and white, Adelup says what you see is not necessarily what you get. Chris Barnett has more.
It's all right here in black and white. Documents KUAM News obtained from the Department of Administration by way of Freedom of Information Act. The documents showing $10,000 pay increases for Adelup staffers Gus Aflagui and Bob Lizama. On February 1st, according to these documents, Aflagui's pay increased from $45,000 a year to $55,000 a year, while Lizama's salary went from $65,000 to $75,000. And both men's salary increases backdated to their start date of January 7th. While it appears it walks like a raise and talks like a raise, according to Adelup Communications Director Janela Carrera, it's not a raise.
There was no increase.
A partial staffing pattern released by the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration in January showed Lizama and Aflagui were both making $10,000 less. And now they're both making $10,000 more. But Carrera says it's not what it looks like.
It's not a pay increase. It's not an increment. It's not a salary increase. It's not a pay raise. It was a correction.
So even though the DOA documents clearly say in black and white it's a pay adjustment, Carrera says DOA got it twisted.
It wasn't an increase. It was a correction on the original salary amount that was offered to them.
Carrera, who's paid $75,000 as the communications director for Adelup, communicated to KUAM News that the wrong salary information for Lizama and Aflagui was sent to DOA.
In the private sector, in the public sector, things like this happen. You know, you put the incorrect salary, the employee discovers it and say, hey, my check is smaller than it should be.
Now remember, the FY 2019 budget law killed salary increments for rank-and-file GovGuam employees. So we asked Carrera what hard-working GovGuam employees will think of a $10,000 pay adjustment for political hires. A pay adjustment, or whatever you want to call it, or not call it.
I understand what it looks like, you know, from your perspective or the public's perspective.
How it looks from our perspective is that official documents don't say anything about an error or correction. The docs clearly say in black and white a $10,000 pay adjustment was given to Lizama and Aflagui, and that it was backdated a whole month, meaning on paper the men should have gotten paid retroactively at a higher rate.
Right, and I understand that that's what it's showing on the personnel action, but again, it was an error.
Lizama, a former mayor of Jigo, was a Lou and Josh campaign village leader. Now he's being paid a corrected salary of $75,000 a year to be a special assistant governor's liaison to the mayors. Carrera, meanwhile, was a little less clear about exactly what Aflagui does.
He works for the lieutenant governor, does a lot of work for him. So as far as individual, duties and all of that, I mean, I don't know that all off the top of my head.
Carrera went on to say 2 other Adelup staffers, Josephine Cepeda and Elaine Tahaji, will also get pay corrections of $5,000 each. Cepeda's pay will be corrected from $60,000 to $65,000, and Tahaji's $5,000 pay correction will see her salary go from $40,000 to $45,000. And Carrera adds the correct documents from DOA will be corrected.
We're going to be sending down whatever paperwork is necessary to reflect the correct actions.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The Guam Police Department launches a death investigation after receiving a report of a man lying unconscious in the Harmon area.
Currently, we have our investigators from GPD's Criminal Investigation on scene to include all our crime scene investigators from the GPD Crime Lab.
According to police spokesperson Paul Tapau, a call came in early Monday morning.
Shortly before 7 o'clock this morning, officers from the Tumon Precinct Command responded to LSP construction located here in Harmon Industrial Park relative to an unresponsive man. So the area where it's at is pretty much a construction site or a construction storage site. So there's a lot of heavy equipment material there. We don't know exactly where he was found based on, again, the portion of the investigation where we do have to refrain from making any comment in that as we move forward with this case and, of course, with the investigation.
Tapao says medics from the Guam Fire Department were called immediately. The man was then transported to the Guam Regional Medical City where attending physicians pronounced him dead.
Can you describe if he had any injuries?
Not at this time.
Was he a young man?
I don't have that information at this time.
Little information is being released as investigators continue to conduct their investigation. Interviews of neighbors, employees of surrounding businesses are currently being interviewed to help GPD get to the bottom of what caused the man's death. If you have any information, you're urged to call Guam Crime Stoppers. The number is 477-4357.
More on a story we brought you last Friday about the Guam Police Department's denial of a Freedom of Information request submitted by a local attorney. Today, Attorney Tom Fisher is adamant that if GPD continues to reject his request, he will take the agency to court.
It's disappointing. The administration, the new administration, started, I think, on the right foot, saying that they wanted to be transparent and, the agents have changed and so forth. And what's happened is a basic document that should be available, is available rather, to anybody. They're just refusing to turn over. I can't imagine why they're doing it.
Attorney Tom Fisher represents former Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio in the alleged gun-grabbing incident that occurred at last year's 4th of July barbecue block party at Pleasure Island. Last week, he sent a Freedom of Information request to Acting Chief of Police Steve Ignacio, requesting for any general order, directives, and standard operating procedures pertaining to the use and possession and handling and/or holstering of firearms of employees or officers at the department. The acting chief denied the request, stating that information related to investigative techniques are protective and could expose or threaten the safety of law enforcement officials, potentially even threaten the integrity of an investigation.
Of course, this has nothing to do with an investigation. So their response was arbitrary and capricious. They need to comply.
Attorney Fisher defends all he's asking for are policies and directives which he contends have been in place for years.
I always thought it was kind of funny because you may remember, I think your station even reported on it, that the day before the chief denied turning over this information, why the AG's office had a lecture for the entire cabinet on transparency. And then the very next day they refused to comply. I guess you can say that they have a sense of humor up there.
But it's no laughing matter for Fisher because he plans on filing a writ of mandamus with the court to order GPD to turn over the documents.
If the court determines that they should have complied and did not, the court can award the requestor up to $1,000. And if the court determines that the denial was arbitrary and capricious, the court, it's a misdemeanor. So there's also a criminal sanction.
In September of 2018, the former lieutenant governor was charged with reckless conduct, obstructing government functions, and official misconduct. During the barbecue block party incident, the former lieutenant governor grabbed a gun from a police officer's holster because he thought it was improperly holstered. He also admitted to drinking about 2 to 3 beers at the time. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Trial is scheduled for March 13th.
In other news, a search continues for the person behind the wheel of Sunday's fatal auto pedestrian incident that occurred Saturday night in Mighty. A 50-year-old man was hit by a car while walking along Route 8. He was rushed to Naval Hospital where he was pronounced dead. If you have any information, you are urged to call Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-4357. Police, in the meantime, also need your help in locating 34-year-old Ulrich Ludwig. They want to question him about an assault and family violence case. He's described as standing 5'5" to 5'8", about 150 to 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has tattoos on his face. He was last seen by Shirley's in Tamuning. Again, if you have any information, please call GPD, Guam Crime Stoppers, at 477-4357. New developments in the case involving the untimely death of a beloved furry pet named Pugua. The 2 charges of animal cruelty as a third-degree felony against Gerald Cruz II have been dismissed. A recent decision by Superior Court Judge Michael Berdalio isn't sitting well with one group of concerned residents, including the head of Guam Animals in Need. Carmen Terlahi has this next story, though viewer discretion is advised.
This isn't, quote, cruel. That's the caption circulating on the Guam Animals in Need Facebook page on this image of a dog named Pugwa. As reported, his owners Nate and Alexi Mapson came back to their Jigo home to find the dog lying in a puddle of blood, allegedly shot to death. Gerald Wayne Cruz II was charged with the death of his neighbor's dog and a neighbor's cat, but the 2 counts of animal cruelty as a third-degree felony have been dropped.
This was an animal that was a very small boony dog. It was very sweet, very loving, and somebody decided to go onto the private property with a loaded gun and execute this family pet. That is absolutely a felony.
The decision to dismiss the charges isn't sitting well with Game Board President Cyrus Luer. In his ruling, Superior Court Judge Michael Bordalio says, quote, the statute the defendant is alleged to have violated does not concern whether he killed the animals, but whether he killed them cruelly, end quote. The court found that there are, quote, no facts that either the cat or dog suffered before dying or that the defendant intended that they suffer, end quote.
We're very disturbed by this ruling. It's effectively what it's saying is that a person can take a gun, trespass on the private property, kill somebody else's family pet, and as long as they're a good shot, all they're going to get is a misdemeanor. We think that is an absurd decision, and we hope that the AG's office will appeal it.
Standing by their decision, the Office of the Attorney General says, quote, the facts of the case support the 2 counts of animal cruelty as a third-degree felony. The AG is reviewing Judge Bordalio's order. For Cyrus, the case sets precedents for future prosecutions of animal cruelty.
The community is outraged. This is a very important case because we don't have many felony animal abuse cases that have been prosecuted. This is a very high-profile case, and it's important to be able to show the community that we can bring justice when it's needed.
Meantime, Cruz still faces the misdemeanor charges in the case. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Stay tuned. We'll tell you about the weather we could be expecting over the weekend. That and more when Guam's News Leader returns after the break.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
You can make each connection count with IT&E Prepaid. Talk, text, and share with the best price daily plans and rates. Stay in touch with loved ones, whether they're in Tumon, Garapan, San Jose, or even San Paulo, on the widest network in the Marianas. And reach out to friends and followers all over the world with the fastest, most reliable 4G LTE data. IT&E, explore your world.
The comfortable, the familiar. Neither one of these will ever give you a new perspective on things or make your heart skip a beat. Comfortable isn't something you'll tell your grandkids about. And familiar? Well, that'll be there when you get home. But until then, there's a world that needs exploring. Getting out of your comfort zone. It's possible in the family of Hyundai SUVs.
Welcome back. It looks like we can be in for some rather rainy and windy conditions this weekend. The National Weather Service, along with Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense, are closely monitoring a tropical disturbance forming about 1,200 miles southeast of Guam. On its current track, the NWS believes it could pass southwest of Guam on Sunday, but as we all know, things can change. For more on the weather ahead, you can watch our Facebook Live show that's streamed this morning. Chris Barnett was live from the National Weather Service, where meteorologists discuss the tropical disturbance and other important weather information. In time for the 75th observance of Liberation Day, 3 new monuments will be built to commemorate one of the most solemn periods in Guam's history. During the waning days of the Japanese occupation, thousands of Chamorros from all over the island were forced to march to a concentration camp in the Menangan Valley. Many died during the marches, and many others were killed at the camp. Acting Governor Joshua Tenorio signed off on the design plans Tuesday for monuments in Barrigada and Agate and a time capsule at the Menangan Memorial Park. Former Senator Willie Flores chairs a foundation that's raising private funding for the commemorative monuments.
I think we need to understand what our Manamko went through and what they endured to give us life and to give us the quality of life that we have now. I mean, a lot of people don't appreciate what they had to go through to make sure that we survived and we're here. And whether or not you're Chamorro, if you're Chamorro, you have a direct connection to Menangan. If you live here in Guam, you're not Chamorro, you also have a direct connection through your friends and sometimes even through marriage. So it's important that everybody understands it's a short period of time, but it changed everything in Guam.
Flores says they hope to place monuments or markers in each of the villages. The foundation also holds a Menangan concentration camp commemoration ceremony each year, which is an official event of the Guam Liberation festivities. The historic election of Lulian Guerrero as Guam's first female governor prompts a new bill which would update the official gender references for our top leaders. In a public hearing Tuesday, sponsor Senator Kelly March Taichano says her measure formally embeds the terms in the law.
This aligns the Chamorro gender element for the governor and lieutenant governor and helps provide a control in the Chamorro definition in the contracts, agreements, or official recordings when there is material difference that may be caused by gender inference in Chamorro.
The references were confirmed by the Chamorro Language Commission. Chairperson Hope Cristobal reads the official titles.
For Governor of Guam, Magahaga, with the appropriate diacritical marks. Husband of the Governor of Guam, Asagwan Magahaga. Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Segundo Magalohi. Acting Lieutenant Governor of Guam, up to Segundo Magahaga.
The bill would make the official terminology applicable in all official government documents, recordings, and transcripts. And now, time for your take from your comments to what's new on KUAM Digital. Jason Salas joins us from the digital desk.
Hey, thanks a lot. There is a lot going on at KUAM Digital today. We have reported many stories, and you are really getting them trending. Here's some of the stuff that you guys are talking about right now. Over on our Facebook page, we have the full-length interview we had with Sergeant Paul Tapao from the Guam Police Department about that very disturbing body that was found in the Harmon area, so you can see what people are saying right now. A lot of people are sharing it. A lot of people want to know what's going on, so make sure to hit that post and several of the others that we have posted throughout the day with the very latest. Over on our Instagram feed, we have our very popular Serving America segment where we feature several Guamanians who are distinguishing themselves and honoring our country by enlisting in the United States military. We want to make sure that they get their due credit for graduating from training. So congratulations to this week's recipients. That is National Guard Airman Tracelyn J. Perez and U.S. Air Force Airman Ryan Guevara. Congratulations to you. And if you have a graduate, make sure to let us know. That's on Instagram. We've also got on our Instagram feed the man that police are looking for right now, last seen in Shirley's in Tamuning. That is 34-year-old Ulrich Ludwig. A lot of good comments on that. People want to know exactly what he did, where he can be found, hopefully, and people are just jumping in wanting to know what they can do to help. So that's over on Instagram. Remember, all of our social platforms are at KUAM News. Speaking of which, over on our Twitter page, people are retweeting several of the posts that we've been posting. We have our sports highlights there. There's a lot of crime stories that we did for today. Even though it was a holiday yesterday, a lot of crime news is making our headlines, unfortunately, and you guys are retweeting that, making sure that everybody knows what is going on there. On our YouTube feed, also at KUAM News, you can see Joan Uggencharfus's very special presentation, Coming Clean, Sober, and Surviving. We debuted that yesterday on YouTube to rave reviews. A lot of people commenting and viewing and sharing these brave people who are telling us their stories about how they were able to overcome substance addiction. Speaking of which, Joan is actually going to have a very special podcast, which is going to be on our SoundCloud page, and that is also at KUM News, where she is actually going to talk about how she put this special together, what it's like to interview people who have to, unfortunately, go back and revisit a very dark place. But on the KUM Podcast Network right now, JC from Isla 63 AM had a very, very inspiring and enlightening interview this morning with folks from Special Olympics Guam, what it's like to put that event together. And Marie and Mariah and I were talking about the Oscar nominations, so that is on SoundCloud also. It's really, really funny, and we tell you why Black Panther may or may not win Best Picture of the Year. So remember, hit us up at any of our social media channels. We are at KUM News. We would love to hear from you. We really enjoy interacting with you guys. Let's get back to the show.
Thanks, Jason. Still to come, sports with Dave Delgado, but first, here's your weather forecast.
What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it.
Agent Alpha. In the event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired.
Agent Alpha. Yes!
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Oh my God, Becky, look at that crust!
At Pizza Hut, we're the ultimate cheesy crust, with 16 pockets overflowing with melted cheese.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports, brought to you by Triple J. On the way, basketball highlights from the Bud Light Golden Hoops Classic played at the Timberlake Gym, along with some footage from this year's Battle Showcase Guam event held at the Drag Strip in Jigo. But first off, some tennis from Agana. Check it out. Third week action of the Cabo Select Care Grand Prix tennis tournament played at the Rick Nanette Tennis Center in Agana. Number 2 Camden Camacho and Christian Pennifield defeated number 1 Mason Caldwell and Joshua Cepeda 7-6, 3-6, 11-9 in the men's 10.0 combined skills doubles final. Women's 8.0 combined skills doubles final, and unseeded Nori Moody and Aki Shintani defeated number 1 Migu Goodman and Yuka Iwata in an intense 3 sets, winning 6-4, 6-7, 11-9. For schedules, draws, and information, go to tennisacademyguam.com. Bud Light Golden Hoops Classic from the Tamuning Gym. Team Savage taking on the Tamuning Typhoons in the co-ed division. Vince Espinal with the dish to Conrad Berg for the layup. Typhoons down a player to get the game started. Ray Sablon clocked in and went to work. Pull-up 3 drops in for the home squad. Lily Baranda with the cross-court pass to Espinal, who returns the favor with the deep ball from the corner. Close game in the second half as neither team was unable to run away with the game. Christian Chang with the assist to Joanne Gogui for 2 points. Typhoons went on a little run. Gogui to Chang to Danny Payumbo for the short jumper. Team Savage pulled off the win 75-72. Desden Fikes with the reverse lay-in after cutting baseline gets rewarded by Conrad Berg. Upshift ENT put it down at Battle Showcase 3, held at the Guam International Raceway drag strip in Jigo. There was something for everyone of all ages. Vendor displays and activities from Proline, Future Clothing, Napa Auto Parts, Lorzalin face paintings, and more. Battle Showcase is a once-a-year lifestyle festival that highlights competition in auto customization, urban arts, racing, and motorsports. The Custom Auto and Bike Show Battle brought out some of the nicest whips on island. There was also Guam's first food truck battle with 3 awards given out for Best Food Truck, Best Signature Dish, Best Truck Trailer Design and Theme, DJ Battle Exhibition, one-on-one graffiti battle, drift exhibition, drag race battle, and of course, the one-on-one b-boy battle. The UOG women's soccer team played to a 0-0 draw with Venue Slay at the Guam Football Association National Training Center. UOG remains unbeaten at 9 wins, no losses with 1 draw. Venue Slay is now 7 wins, 2 losses with that draw.